It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Duenkel Productions Podcast. We got my buddy Andrew. Andrew Oaks, the man.
Yeah, man. Nobody knows how to pronounce it right, so it's all good.
Hey, that's fair, man. But today we're gonna be talking Kevin Durant news. Urban Meyer being hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Green Bay Packers playing tomorrow. Gonna be a big game. And we'll talk about the 36-year-old LeBron James that everyone's trying to beat.
Yep. 36 playing like 26, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But Andrew, how are you, buddy?
Doing well, man. How are you? Just waiting on that Packer game tomorrow. Can't wait.
Oh, dude, I
325.
Wait, yeah, I can't wait. Gonna be playing at Lambeau right behind me for the boys. And also for the people watching this that keep tweeting me on Twitter asking me if I'm still an Ohio State fan. I had to rep the gear to prove that I'm still a Buckeye fan. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen the tweets.
Yeah. It's been bad. But Andrew, let's start it off, man. I want to get your thoughts on Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving on the Brooklyn Nets. What do you think about it? The James Harden trade just went down. I believe it was yesterday. What are your thoughts? And, why is everyone trying to beat 36-year-old LeBron James so bad, dude?
Hey, well, first of all, I couldn't believe that the trade actually went through. I mean, like, you heard the talks about it earlier in the season, about, Brooklyn wanting him. It just didn't seem like something that would actually happen. Like, you never had three guys that could lead the league in scoring all on the same team. Like, you had not Washington. You had Cleveland with Kyrie and LeBron, but Kevin Love was obviously that third guy who was really like a 16 point per game scorer once LeBron got there. You think about the big four in Golden State. But Klay Thompson's always kind of like in that lower 20s range. I mean, now when you look at Brooklyn, you've got Kyrie who could put up 30 at any time. James Harden can give you 40 in his sleep, like even if he is 30 pounds overweight. So, and Kevin Durant obviously, does his own thing. He's been balling this year. So, I couldn't believe when the trade went down. Like, first thing I thought of as a Bucks fan was like, it's going to be real tough for us to get out of the East now, like really tough. I don't know how, if you're not really great on the perimeter defensively, which I guess with Drew Holiday, we have a really good defender with him, but it's going to be hard to guard all three of those guys. If they can get their chemistry right and get that team together and Kyrie shows up, yeah. But, I'm sure from the Lakers perspective, you're a Lakers fan. I'm a Lakers fan by default because of LeBron. I still think the Lakers will beat them. I think that they've got AD, who's just like terrific defensively, much improved shooting from the perimeter. LeBron just does it all, even at 36 years old. Seems like he's getting better every year. So, yeah, man, we're going to see. And they're going to play here coming up, I think, in the regular season. And then we'll see if, Brooklyn makes it through the East. I have no doubts that the Lakers will make it through the West. And we'll see, hopefully, in the finals, how that goes down.
So, like you, Andrew, I thought the same thing. I didn't think this was going to happen at all. I will say, though, you should have more confidence in the Bucks to beat the Brooklyn Nets. I don't think they're unbeatable by any stretch. When you have three ball-dominant players on the same team, it's going to be hard for them to coexist, and especially since we're talking about a season that will not have as many games as normal. I believe we've only played 14 games so far this season, but we're only playing 72. So I don't know if these guys are going to have enough reps this year to be able to, get that chemistry together, especially, Kyrie Irving and the situation going on with him. We're not obviously going to speculate when the facts come out about that situation. We'll talk about it. But I think, Andrew, this says a lot about Kevin Durant and Kyrie. Like these guys both said, they wanted all the glory, they wanted all the shine, and now they're teaming up
Mhm.
with one of the greatest scorers ever in James Harden, just to beat LeBron James. Like that's the one reason these guys are teaming up, because LeBron knows deep down that if it was Kevin Durant and Kyrie, that they would win, because Anthony
Oh
Davis
yeah.
and
Oh
LeBron
yeah.
could guard KD, and
No.
they shut him down, be able to play, not shut him down completely, but hold him to 25 to 30 instead of 35 to 40, which Kevin Durant can still drop. But I think what this says, Andrew, is um, we now got something to talk about in the NBA. I
Yeah.
think that throughout this first 14 games of the season, it was status quo. LeBron was the best player in the league. The Lakers were the best team in the league. The Bucks
Yeah.
looked like the best team in the East, and it wasn't really going to change much. Now you talk about obviously the Brooklyn Nets, having three guys, but I'll tell you this, dude. I think the Nets aren't going to. They're not getting out the East. I think the Bucks are going to beat them. I just
Really.
I don't think I don't think this is like Golden State where they have a system in place, and Curry and Clay and Draymond, they care more about the team than themselves. James
Right.
Harden, Kyrie Irving, and to a lesser extent Kevin Durant all care about themselves. I think what this also shows is, you know, Kevin Durant is struggling with Kyrie right now behind the scenes.
Oh
You know,
yeah. Yeah.
and I think it shows now that um we're talking about how you know LeBron lasted 3 years with Kyrie, and Kevin Durant's lasted 3 weeks, and they're having issues. That's an issue. That's a big problem.
Yeah. I think to your point about what it says about Durant, I think it says a lot about LeBron too. Actually, like if you remember when LeBron was in the East for the first 15 years of his career or whatnot, they were always talks about the West being so much better than the East because everybody, wanted to be. Once LeBron figured out how to win in Miami, I think people in the East, teams in the East, players on teams in the East kind of understood that you're not going to get through LeBron. He made the finals, what was it, 8 straight years at one point with Miami and Cleveland. And you saw everybody, Jimmy Butler, you saw, Kevin Durant was already in the West, but just all players going out West, and the West was so stacked. Paul George too, Carmelo Anthony, and now that LeBron's in the West and he's doing his thing out there and just dominating people, and his team is in the 1 seed and he's in the MVP talks. Now everybody's going East again. You know what I mean? So I think it says a lot about LeBron James. Like even at his age 36 season, I'd say he's still the best player in the NBA. And I think
Without
it's
without question, dude.
yeah, and I think it's not even like honestly really that close. I would say Kevin Durant's probably number two. I'd still put Kawhi Leonard up there, even though I don't like that he doesn't play all the time. I think he's improved that a little bit this year. You don't think
Hmm.
so?
No, dude. I think like, bro. You know, I give credit to people going out there and putting in work on a daily basis. Um,
Yeah,
you talk about these guys like LeBron, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Giannis. These guys play every night, and they play at a high level. And I think of
yeah.
that. Kawhi Leonard. I have great respect for him. I think he's a top 10 player in the league, but I'm not gonna put him top three because there's something about for me about playing the game of basketball. I love basketball.
Hmm.
It's my favorite sport. Um,
As do I. Yeah,
and I'll tell you this, dude. LeBron, in 2018 with that Cavs team, he played 82 games, took his team to the finals, dropped 51 points in a game one, and still lost. Like if that doesn't say it, like the ultimate,
legendary.
yeah. Like he's on another level. And I think I,
Yeah,
I would honestly say, Andrew, I would say LeBron, KD 1, 2, and then I'd say Giannis. The way that man plays defense is incredible.
yeah.
He's a great defender. He's really good on offense too, good rebounder. Getting better at assisting the ball, getting better at passing. So I
He's
think
such an underrated passer.
yeah.
Giannis is such an underrated
Hmm.
passer. Like Like he averages like I think right around 5 for his career, I believe. But it's not really even like the numbers that tell the story about him. Like it's the different kinds of passes he's able to make, whether it's from the post or even from the top of the key. That like big guys like Anthony Davis just don't make. I think that's definitely something that separates him. Like you see a lot on Twitter, like the debates about like AD or Giannis, and the one thing that separates Giannis for me is his playmaking ability. Honestly, in that category, I don't even think it's close. I think Giannis just continues to improve, and like you said, he's improving every year on that. Obviously, the 3-pointer, if you can get better at that, and not only that, just shoot at a higher volume. Um, I think that's maybe where Anthony Davis has an edge, is that he shoots that mid range and that deep
Yes.
ball really, really,
Yes.
really well.
Hmm.
It helps when you have LeBron setting you up on those, but I mean, even on like when he gets the ball at the wing, Anthony Davis and does his own thing, and it's just him on an island out there. Like he's really good at like whether it's a half spin step back jumper over a guy or just a face up three. Like he's gotten so improved since coming to the Lakers, and yeah, man, I think it's gonna be if the Lakers meet the Bucks in the finals, I think that'd be a terrific matchup. I'm not even sure who I'd pick. I'd probably still go with the Lakers with that just because experience, but yeah, that'd be tough.
Here's the thing, Andrew, is I'll never in my career of watching sports or talking sports or now doing this podcast, I'll never bet against three people. I'll never gonna bet against LeBron James. I'll never bet against Bill Belichick, and I'll very rarely bet against Nick Saban. Those are
Yeah,
those are the three
yeah,
guys that I just will not bet against. And I think too, it says something to me that all these guys have to team up to beat LeBron. Like you talk about the Warriors, you talk about the Spurs, you talk about the Thunder. Like these teams that have competed against LeBron in his career have had two, three, four, multiple Hall of Famers. And Nick Wright said
yeah,
something interesting the other day. Is like, Kevin Durant knows that he's got to bring a squad with him to beat LeBron. And even the squad
yeah,
that he's bringing with him might not even be enough, which I don't think it will be. It'll be interesting to see. I will say that right now, I want to wait a little bit until I say for sure. But I think this fit's going to be tough to figure out. And I think too, Andrew, what really sticks to me is Harden is not in shape right now. Like it is clearly
yeah,
obvious. So
yeah,
and Kyrie's obviously, we know what's going on with him. He's out of the lineup. Personal reasons. We don't want to speculate on that because we really don't know what in fact is
yeah,
going on. But you know what? Some people are calling for him to retire, leave basketball for the year. Is this something the Nets, can handle? Because last year, Andrew, me and you were obviously at the front of all this with all these Clipper fans saying, "Oh, the Clippers, oh, Kawhi Leonard, oh,
yeah,
Paul George,
yeah.
Patrick
All
Beverly,
all year. Yeah,
all year, dude." And I'm not falling for it again. I'm not. I'm still convinced that LeBron's gonna win another title. I think this might be his last one though, because I think that you're gonna start seeing, the Bucks with Giannis, Mavs with Luka, even the
hmm,
Nets, Golden State's gonna be back. There's gonna be a lot of teams that are gonna be ready to compete. Not this season, I don't think, but next year you're really gonna see these guys compete. Not saying the Bucks or the Nets can't beat the Lakers. I just don't see it this year, especially with the additions they made with Schroeder and Harrell. Those are very underrated right now. Those guys are playing good ball.
yeah. No, and I think that's what you just touched on with Schroeder and Harrell, and they got KCP and I think when you look at championship teams in the NBA right now, when you look at the teams that you would put at the top, right? You look at Philly, you look at Milwaukee, obviously. The Clippers, I'd still put up there, and the Lakers, I'd say are the top four when I think of who. Boston too, the one thing the Nets don't have, what they just got rid of, what they just lost, is bench depth. I think that's something that's going untalked about a little bit. Is that yeah, they got Harden, but they lost a lot of depth. They lost Levert, Dinwiddie tore his ACL partially, so he's out. Which kind of actually helped Brooklyn because they weren't able to trade him. But he's going to be out, and they lost picks down the line. And I just think once you get past those top three guys, DeAndre Jordan, he's going to be stepping in to play center, but he was a do not play coach's decision just the other night, and now he's got to step into the starting role again. And I'm just not sure it's going to be enough. When you look up and down that roster and you talk about matchups in the East for Brooklyn, you look at Milwaukee, obviously. I'm not sure who guards Giannis, and the matchups with Kevin Durant. Giannis performed pretty well, it's not like Giannis has stopped Durant at all, but Durant's not really able to stop Giannis either. Not many people are. With that being said, but I think that's one thing to look at when you're talking about, the move in general, and how I feel about it is, especially if they can't get that chemistry together and they can't figure out like who's going to take the last shot, because Harden's going to want to take that shot. Durant always wants to take that shot, and Kyrie has proven he can make that shot if he's going to be there. So that's a big thing as well, and they've all got huge egos because they're all pro athletes, and that's just something that comes with it. So
well, and too, Andrew, this will be my last point on this, but it says something about LeBron and his career, how he makes every situation work. He made Kyrie work. He made AD work. He made him and Wade work, which him and Wade, Andrew, like if you look at those two, and put them together, it's not really a great fit.
No, especially not in today's NBA, not at all. No.
Right. I mean, like we're saying, like in 2010 to 2014, it was a little bit of a better fit, but still, it just proves to you, the greatness of LeBron. And, obviously we talk a lot about LeBron on this show. He's a big topic, but he's a big topic on every sports show. So I can't, you got to talk about the big guys. But I'll say this, the NBA season just got real interesting with all the moves going on. I'm really hyped to watch basketball. Lakers play tonight against the Pelicans, Mavs, Bucks too.
Yeah.
I know you were pointing that out on Twitter today. That's going to be a fun one to watch as well. Also guys, make sure you guys follow Andrew on Twitter. He does write stuff for Wisconsin Sports Heroics. We both do, as a matter of fact. So be sure to follow him. Check out his articles. Great content. Andrew, do you write for anybody else or just Wisconsin Heroics, bud?
Actually, starting now, I did just get hired at a new website. Not sure I can say it yet, but when I do have that okay to say it, I'll make sure to say it. Pretty excited about that. That's kind of how Sports Heroics is Wisconsin based. This is kind of like if I want to write about Curry, I can write about Curry, LeBron, all that.
That's awesome.
Robin actually writes for them too. So
I'll
go ahead and say it. Borderfield Sports, yeah. So it's gonna be those guys over there. I just got hired over there and real excited. I can't wait for that to take off. Hopefully,
that's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. But you guys, I'll drop Andrew's link to his Twitter in the description. He does a lot of good sports stuff. But Andrew, let's move to this now. So I want to get your thoughts on the Urban Meyer hiring of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm a big Urban Meyer fan, huge Urban Meyer fan, one of my favorite coaches. Obviously not just because he coached at Ohio State, but just because he's one of the greatest coaches ever. Huge fan of his. But what are your thoughts on that move of him to Jacksonville? And do you think that they might take Fields instead of Lawrence with the first pick now that Urban's there? I want to get your thoughts.
That's interesting. I do not think they're going to take Fields. As far as the move goes, I think it's a terrific move for Jacksonville. I mean, if you're looking at all the candidates, you look at like Robert Saleh, and I'm seeing now Arthur Smith just signed with Atlanta. Eric Bieniemy over there in Kansas City, another option that people are throwing around. But I think if you look at the fact that Urban Meyer coached at Florida, right, and he turned that program around. They went from 7-5 to 9-3 in a bowl game, and kind of became more of a reputable university again. Gave them some more credibility. And then he went from Ohio State and took them from a lackluster record right to being undefeated this following year, in his first year there. So when you look at Urban Meyer, the first thing that comes to mind is he's a culture changer, and that's exactly what Jacksonville needs. Obviously, he's going to go in there and try to change the culture, but what people are, missing is how many draft picks they've got this year is really going to be a great, first step for him. He's kind of stepping into a good situation there because they still have some talent. They lost, a lot of their guys to trades, obviously Ramsey and other guys, but I mean, they've got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a third. I do think they're going to go Trevor Lawrence. I think it was Urban Meyer who said that Trevor Lawrence was like the greatest college quarterback he had ever seen with his own 2 eyes. So, I mean, that says a lot to me. I can't see him passing up, a guy that he thinks that highly of for Justin Fields, even if he did outplay him in the bowl game or in the playoff. But, I mean, if I'm a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I'm pretty excited for the future right now. They've got a great coach. They've got some decent pieces around them. They got a good left tackle. Yeah, I mean, right out there, over there, and the ball. So good times ahead for Jacksonville, definitely.
I mean, Andrew, man, I'm so excited about this hire, man. When the news broke
Yeah.
yesterday, my first reaction was great for Urban. Huge Urban Meyer
Yeah.
fan, like I've been saying. I think the Jaguars, they're set up for a good future. Got 100 million cap space right now. Got a lot of draft picks, like you've been mentioning.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff like that. That is huge for them moving forward. And I think they're set up in a good direction. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But also make sure just an episode look ahead here. Dunkel's mock draft 1.0 will be coming out on the channel next week. So stay tuned for that.
There you go. Check
Put
it
a-
out.
Put a lot of hard work into that, Andrew. Watched a
Yeah.
lot of film, and I actually agree with her. I think Trevor Lawrence is one of the closest things we've seen since probably Andrew Luck, to tell you the truth. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at Andrew Luck and how he played in college, and you look at Trevor Lawrence and how he played, Andrew Luck may have played just as good as Trevor Lawrence, but Trevor Lawrence may have played better than him, which is the crazy
Yeah.
thing. When you talk about Trevor's record, his only 2 losses were to Ohio State and LSU. There ain't nothing wrong with losing to those 2 ball clubs. Those dudes are
Right.
big time. And also, man, I mean, you look at the record, 30 wins is absolutely insane. I think he won 1 national championship against Alabama and beat them
Yeah.
pretty good, which doesn't really happen to Nick Saban too often. So I really like the direction of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Very excited about their future.
Yeah, no, I agree. And if you look at what it takes, like you said, that he did win that national championship against Alabama. If you look at what it takes to beat Alabama in the national championship, it takes transcendental quarterbacks. I mean, you look at who beat him last time in Clemson, Deshaun Watson. Obviously, don't need to say much about him. I mean, he's kind of had a rough time over there in Houston, but that's just a dumpster fire of a situation over there in Houston right now. But I mean, yeah, like you mentioned the cap space. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to pick anybody up over there in Jacksonville. I mean, because the NFL is a little bit different from the NBA. Guys don't usually just tend to go in the NFL towards like, the hot team. It's kind of, you need to have wins in that, organization. You need to have a good culture, and it's more about like winning. Whereas in the NBA, like you see a lot of guys sign for big money out there, where it's Julius Randle with a max contract for the Knicks or whatever it is, it's kind of more location based sometimes than it is on win. So it's going to be difficult, I think, for them to pick up some guys. Even with the cap space, it'll be interesting to see who's willing to move over there for a first-time NFL head coach. I don't think Urban Meyer's coached in the NFL before, right? So this will be his first time as a head coach in the NFL. And if you look at the history of college coaches in the NFL, it's not great. But I think Urban Meyer is a kind of a different kind of guy. He's a leader of men for sure. And I mean, like I said, if you look at his track record, all he does is turn organizations and universities around, for the better. So, yeah, I think it's really exciting times in Jacksonville, and they have every reason to be excited over there.
Completely agree. Now, Andrew, before I let you go, I want to get your prediction for tomorrow's Green Bay Packer, Los Angeles Rams divisional game. Now, I will not be making a prediction right now because we do our Saturday and Sunday shows live on YouTube. But, Andrew, what's your prediction for the game, my guy?
All right, so I went back and forth on this, right? Kind of tough. Obviously, I try to keep my own personal bias out of it, which is always tough. But If I had to pick, I would say Green Bay 34, LA 27. I think I really don't think the weather is going to play as big of a role as people are thinking. It's going to be mid 30s, cloudy, a little bit of wind. It's not like it's going to be in the low 10s with, a bunch of snow. I do think we will be able to contain Aaron Donald. Obviously, losing Velder here, the left tackle there, to COVID, I believe is tough. But I do think we'll be able to make those rotations on the offensive line. Maybe probably put a double on Aaron Donald. If not, he'll definitely be able to disrupt Aaron Rodgers. But I think we're just in too good of a zone right now. I think we're in a rhythm. Even off a bye, I like our chances. And Aaron Rodgers has never had 2 back-to-back playoff games at home, so I'll be excited to see how he handles that. Obviously, a little different without all the fans, but yeah, I definitely see us going home with a win, and I'm not really too worried about it. I think Jared Goff coming back a little early off that thumb. I think if you watched the Rams play in their previous game, he's just not throwing the ball like he was before. And how could you, with that thumb? So it's only going to get worse in the colder weather. I don't think the weather plays a huge factor, but I think it will play a factor for Goff specifically. And, obviously the biggest matchup to look for is how Adams is going to deal with Ramsey over there. The difference with Ramsey guarding, covering a guy, maybe like a DeAndre Hopkins or Stephon Diggs and guarding Devontae Adams, to me, is route running. Like, I think Devontae Adams just gets open on his own just because his terrific footwork and route running you can't guard that. You know what I mean? Like, it's impossible to just stick to somebody whose footwork is that good. You know what I mean? And when you combine that with his raw talent and his speed and everything like that, I think it'll be a good day for us. I think it'll be a big game for Adams, I'm predicting. And as long as we can stop the run from the Rams, I think this will be a pretty good game. I might even be giving the Rams too much credit with 27 points. Honestly.
Andrew, I completely agree with a lot of what you said, man. I think this is going to be a great game. I do. Obviously, my prediction will be coming tomorrow. But, Andrew, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really do appreciate it. You have yourself a good Friday night. Enjoy the basketball games tonight, everybody. And this video will be out in a little bit. So be ready to roll.
Thanks for having me on, man. Look forward to coming on again.
Dude, no problem.
It's not a game. It's a rich thing.